I want everybody to understand this. What occurred is this. If you look at it in the aggregate, it's under 3% tariffs across the board, etc. Donald Trump jacked it up in some parts with Mexico and Canada to 25% on certain issues. Of course, if you're rich enough to own a car company, etc., you can make some deals with the president, which many of them did. And over time, they just keep going back to the well to get breaks. But the average person doesn't have the power to go to the president and say, hey, I need to negotiate a side order so that the stuff I'm bringing in from China, the stuff I'm bringing in from Mexico, the stuff I'm bringing in from Canada, the prices are different. We don't have that play for the average American citizen. So that went for Canada and Mexico to up 25%. For the rest of the world, the tariffs became 10%. So what we're seeing is, if you want to look at it at the aggregate, the taxes on products coming into the United States on the American people has gone from about 3% in the aggregate to 10%. That's over a 333% increase in the aggregate. I want everybody to understand that. So when everybody is happy that the tariffs from China, a deal that was established after I wrote the show yesterday, from 145% tariff down to 30%, okay, for 90 days while they negotiate. People say, oh, wow, big deal. Well, remember, that was from a tariff of under 3% in general, which is more than a 3,000%, over a 3,000% increase in tariffs for the average American. So people bringing in stuff from China now, instead of paying, you're paying 1,000% more in taxes for that product that you're bringing in from China, even with this deal that reduced it from 145% to 30%. This is just simple math, folks. But it gets worse. It gets worse. You know that little shopping Amazon type thing that a lot of small businesses used from China? It's called de minimis exemption. What it meant is that if you bought a product and you spend less than $800 and less of that product, right? You got the de minimis exception. That means you got to bring that product in tariff-free. So thousands of businesses, hundreds of thousands, millions of businesses got established. People working out of their homes, people working out of little shops or whatever. They would bring in cups and glass bottles and threads and these things, and they would add value to that and establish their businesses. They weren't paying tariffs on these products. So whereas big companies got very huge discounts when they brought in containers upon containers from China, these small businesses got the opportunity to compete, because while they didn't have the volume of scales, they could actually bring in using the de minimis exceptions for people buying products at under $800, which means if you brought in, you could bring in, I don't know, maybe 1,000 cups that was under $800, and therefore you didn't pay a tariff. You could add value to that cup, sell it in Walmart, sell it anywhere. So that gave you entry into business, right? That de minimis tariff, I didn't see anything within the deal that they made with China to restore that de minimis exemption. What that means is that everybody gets that 30% increase in their costs, including the mom and pop store that doesn't have the power to go to the president and say, could you please exempt bikes? Could you please exempt this? Could you please exempt that? So as usual, the people who get screwed in this entire tariff deal are all the standard small businesses. Americans all pay that tariff. So folks, I need you to understand this. Donald Trump went ahead and created some extraordinarily high tariffs so that to the psyche of the non-thinking person, what then happens is that, wait a minute, I don't have to pay 145% tariff. I'm going to pay 30% now. Remember what that means, though. With the de minimis exemption gone, with all these other things gone, Donald Trump collects a huge amount of taxes to pay for the tax cut for the wealthy, because all that money that poor America, that middle class America pays goes into the coffers of the United States. It's not China who pays the tariffs. It's all of us who pays that tariff with the increased cost, with the increased price. So even if, let's say, the mom and pop store eats some of the tariff, your prices goes up, the business cost of mom and pop stores goes up, we all pay for that big, big tax cut that Donald Trump wants to give to the wealthy. If we sit back and understand the con against all middle class and poor Americans, we will prevent our Congress people from effecting not only the tariffs, because remember, it's not Donald Trump who really has the right to impose tariffs. It's the Congress. Donald Trump has the right to impose tariffs right now because he declared some sort of an emergency. But ultimately speaking, Congress has the right to determine what tariffs are going to be, if they're going to be tariffs, if they will reinstitute the de minimis exemption and all of that. That is the purview, the prerogative of Congress if they decided to hold up their constitutional duty. That is what you, the average American, has the ability to impose on your Congress, to tell them that you are not willing to pay for the tax cuts of the Trump administration for the wealthy by you paying the bill, by giving your or hard-earned dollars to a whole bunch of wealthy people who already are building their wealth on your back. Folks, it's imperative. It is imperative that we engage. It is imperative that you learn that you have the ability to engage. Don't look at the news this morning and think there was some savings for you. There was none. At 145% tariff, trade between the United States and China ceased. It stopped. At 30%, it will continue, but it will be inflationary.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.